I'm admittedly biased, but I wholeheartedly believe that boundaries are the most underrated life skill any person can possess. Clients, readers of my first book, and podcast listeners have told me countless times over the past 2 decades that having better boundaries changed not only their lives, but also their children's lives. Let that sink in. Your boundaries not only improve your life, but also impact all your relationships, creating a legacy that benefits future generations. Yes, boundaries really are that powerful. About this book. Whether you consider yourself a boundaries novice or a boundaries ninja, this book gives you new ways of thinking about and setting boundaries. Here's just a sampling of the information this book provides. What personal boundaries are and how they help you establish order, safety, and protection. How to avoid unnecessary mistakes by knowing the common misperceptions people have about setting boundaries. How to navigate the inevitable pushback and resistance to your boundaries. How to recognize the signs that you may need to set a boundary. How to work the 6 steps for identifying, creating, and maintaining effective personal boundaries. How to figure out why a boundary didn't work or was unsuccessful, and what to do next. What you find here that you won't find in any other book on boundaries is an easy-to-follow, step-by-step process that shows you how to set a boundary in any context or relationship, including with yourself. If you're new to personal boundaries, this book outlines the fundamentals and explains why you may not have learned about personal boundaries when you were growing up. If you already have a good working understanding of boundaries, this book takes your current knowledge and skill set to the next level. Disclaimer: stories and examples presented in this book are fictional or composite non-identifiable factual events that have been edited to protect confidentiality. This book is not intended as a substitute for professional mental health treatment or medical advice. Foolish assumptions. Having worked for decades with people who struggle with boundaries, I'm going to assume that you fall into one of 3 categories. You've recently become aware that personal boundaries are a thing after years or even decades of having little or no information about how boundaries work, and you're ready to find out more. Congratulations and welcome. You have a pretty good understanding about how personal boundaries work, but you've discovered that your current knowledge and skills aren't adequate for a challenging new situation or a difficult, troubled relationship you're trying to navigate. You're a life coach, psychotherapist, or other mental health treatment provider who has struggled to find a high-quality resource you feel comfortable giving to clients or patients who need good information about personal boundaries. No matter which category you're in, this book meets you where you are, and I believe you have a hunch, or maybe even an unshakable conviction, that leveling up your boundaries can improve some aspect of your life, personally or professionally. It most certainly can, and I'm honored to have the privilege of sharing some life-changing information with you. Icons used in this book. Throughout this book, you will note icons, which are verbalized in this audiobook, that highlight certain types of valuable information I want to bring to your attention. Here's a brief description of each icon. Tip. The tip icon marks tips, shortcuts, and additional information that supplements or provides a deeper understanding about that section's subject matter. Remember. Remember icons mark